Welcome to Numerology 101, basically the beginning of numerology. So what I'm going to do is show you how numerology works. Numerology for dummies. Now, I'm not saying it's for dummies, but what I am saying is this is what most people think numerology is all about, and I'm going to show you how they do it. Well, numerology says if we add up our day, and I've made a day up like 17, and 1 plus 7 equals 8, so that's pretty simple. And the month is 02 or February, and 02 equals 2 if we add those two numbers together. And this is the year 2015 that I put up there. It's all made up, but 2 plus 1 is 3 and 5 equals 8. Now that's pretty simple really, and if that's all it takes to find out somebody's future, there's not a lot to it. But people are so complex, so let's go a bit further. Now we're going to add these up. 8 and 2 is 10 and 8 equals 18. 1 plus 8 equals 9. Now if you can do that, you're a numerologist, and that makes you pretty cool. The problem is you've got to remember what that 9 down here, 1 and 8 equals 9, actually means. And they call it a life path. Well, it's not what I'd call it a life path. To me it's a bunch of numbers, and the numbers don't really relate to anything specifically, so let's have a look at what it does. Over here, the addition of somebody's birthday, which in this case adds to 9, and here's 9, says that this is what they kind of are like, or what they would do, according to basic numerology for dummies. Over here we've got services, health and support. So anyone whose birthday apparently that adds up to 9 would mean that they are somebody who works in the services, the health or the support industry. Now, okay, what about your birthday? Well, if your birthday, when you add it up like this and find out what number you've got there like that, you could say, this is who I am, and that's numerology. Well, is it? My birthday adds up to the number 2. So if I was to add up my birthday in total, it comes to the number 2. And it says I'm a software engineer. Now, I am not a software engineer, or it could mean that I work with airlines, and I could be involved in radio or television, and I don't work really in radio or television, although I have been on TV because of my numerology skills. But it doesn't really make sense, but you could make it fit if you really wanted to. You see, I work with numbers and letters, and they're pretty small. But if I was going to say, well, most people could work with small things like pens, or when they put their eyeliner on, or when they're squeezing a zit, or when they're picking up a pin. That's small, but come on, is this really numerology, or is it the basics? Because wait, there's more. What I'm going to show you over here, for example, is what I could do if I look at the words numerology. So let's try that. I'm going to show you the next phase. So we're going to skip this because this is important in one aspect of your makeup. The rest of it, there's another 6 that we've got to look at in total, and then there's another million of bits we've got to look at as well. So I'm going to do something to show you that when I move this over to here and expose this little graph, this graph is magic, because now we've gone from numerology to something called lettrology. L-E-T-T-R-O-L-O-G-Y. Notice that there's no E here. Well, that's all right, lettrology, because there's no B in numberology. So, doesn't matter really, does it? Or does it? Well, let's just see what numerology is at a little different level. We'll call that 5, 3, 4, 5, 9, 6, 3, 6, 7, and 7. Now, I put those numbers up there because they are the numbers that relate to that code on the back, which I'll show you again in a moment. So if I was to add that up, it comes to 55. All of those numbers will add up to 55. And if I go 5 plus 5 equals 10, and 1 and 0 equals 1, that would mean, according to this, that maybe, just maybe, A numerologist would be a 1. And there are letters that go with the numbers 1. And there's also a number 1 up here which says leadership. But how do you stitch that together? How do you make that make sense to anybody who wants to use numerology to find out who they are? Well, we'll look at Tiger Woods the same way. How about this? 2, 9, 7, 5, 9, 5, 6, 6, 4 and 1. Where did they come from? Well, the letter T in this column is there. It has a value of 2. Even though T happens to be 9, 18, 20. The 20th letter of the alphabet. So if you can see how I got those numbers now from here down to here, we're getting a bit deeper, and you have to understand a couple of small things. That the letters up here have a position in the alphabet. And are they important in numerology? Well, yeah, because numerology is a language. And that's why literology was born, to say we understand both numbers and letters. Now, I have to ask you, where did the letters come from? Were they just like made up? No, there's a reason behind that. So to show you how numerology would really look, this, for example, was the original letter A. And it came from the word alpha, and alpha was an ox. And if you look at it really carefully, this is a hieroglyph from Egypt. And you've got here a head of an ox or a cow, a head of this bull even, and there's the yoke over its shoulder. And what it represented was that if you were to get a wooden spade and start digging off the field and trying to get the potatoes put down in an acre, it would take a man a long time to do it with a wooden spade back then. However, if we put the ox and put the yoke on its shoulder and we put a plough on the end of it and we just went along following the ox, it would turn the field over very quickly. So this particular symbol, which was then changed by the ancients to that, and eventually to that, which became that one up there, represents a change in the life or the living conditions. Now we're getting deeper into a particular pet subject of mine that I've been doing for a little while, 40 years approximately. When I say that, and before this month is out, it'll be 40 years. So I've gone that far, but what I want to do now is go back to here, and now you can see where I got the numbers from. But N is not the 5th letter of the alphabet. E is the 5th letter of the alphabet. A, B, C, D, E. A, B, C, D, E. Simple as that. But N is the 14th letter. So 5, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And I have reduced 14 N to 5. And that's simple again. It's just addition. But does it make a difference? Yes, it does, and no, it doesn't. I'll just take this a little further with a different colour pen, and we'll go 14, 21, 13, 5, 18, 15, 12, 15, I'll just so you can see it, 7 and 25. Now, those are the positions of the letters in the alphabet. And if we add those up, like we do in standard maths, 4 and 1 is 5, and 3 is 8, and 5 is 13, 21, 26, 28, 33, 40, 45, we'll put a 5 down there and carry the 4. 4 and 2 is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. 1, 4, 5. Now, if we add up 1, 4, 5, we get 1 plus 4 plus 5 equals 10. And 1 plus 0 equals 1. And that up there tallied up to 1, and that tallied up to 1. Now we're getting into numerology at a different level. This part is important, but not as we know it. Well, not as you know it. So I'm going to stop here and put on another thing to show you what the next level of numerology is all about. Let's have a look at that one. And thanks for watching, so don't go away, just hold it there, and let's go from Numerology for Dummies to Numerology and Numerology for the forensic expert. I'm going to time snap this thing or shrink it up, but show you how I'm building something, so just be patient and watch this build. Numerology for experts. Become an expert. And that is how you build a chart. But I haven't put in the months of each year, right down to the days of each year. So if you can understand that all of this that I just put up, which I will now explain, is all to do with how to build a chart at forensic levels, not just for anybody, but for somebody we understand. He was born as Eldrick Tont Woods on the 30th day of December 1975, and there's something very, very interesting about to happen in Tiger's life. His birthday in December the 30th means right at the end of this year. This is the year he will turn 44 in a matter of days, and from that 44th year I've got a diagonal line going up here which indicates a run of these number 2s here. Something is about to happen to Tiger to cause him to have a flat line. And a flat liner in an operating theatre would mean the heart stops. Now this doesn't mean his heart stops, it means his life is going to go flat. So what I'm going to do, I'll carry on doing this in a moment. All I'm going to do now is get ready to explain it and go through it section by section like a real numerologist would. And if you'd like to learn this stuff, well, you can get hold of me. So I'm just going to pause myself for a second and get on with it. Okay, and now we've got to the particular point where I've finished this. I'm going to show you what it's like when I just basically interpret the whole thing so that it makes sense about what's happening to this guy. So here I am, turning into forensic mode. So this is numerology and literology, but in reality it's profiling, and so let's profile them. So we've got numerology and literology for experts. Now I've got up here the numbers 11, 13, 16 and 9. Now I call those clusters. Those clusters often come together and they cause or reveal havoc or problems or difficulties. And they are not so much the number 2, not so much the number 4 or 7 or 9, which are the reduction of those numbers, but they're just basically indicators of where they are. And I've actually got a whole pile of them here at this particular point, and this point here are 11s. So I'll explain that in a moment, because this is where Tiger is in his life right now. So let me explain and get on with it from here. Tiger Woods was born as Eldrick Tont Woods, and that's probably why he became Tiger. Eldrick Tont Woods. And so what I've done, as you saw me with the other little chart of coding to break the letters and numbers down, here I've got them all underneath his 3 names. I've summed them to a single number each. I've added it across, so 8 and 6 is 14 and 4 is 18, which comes to 9. So his whole name runs into that number 9. Now this part here is literally called his it's almost like a career line. So I'm going to call this here his career. And I think I remember putting it on there, the number 3 related to sport. And there is Eldrick Woods, Tiger Woods is a 3. So by adding up that number and that number, 8 and 4 add up to 12, which come to 3. if I start to look at other aspects of his makeup, first of all, his first name Eldrick makes him strong, determined, keeps things on the inside. He won't reveal a great deal, yet he liked to be around people and he liked to talk and have some chats and some fun. His first and last name represent colourful, creative, sporty, bright, happy and cheerful, but his whole name said he tried to be the nice guy underneath it all, and this is how you read the numbers, by looking at them from a perspective that they are not numbers, they are qualities. And this is his personality type. Up here I've got these particular numbers circled, or not circled, some are. The 5 up here represents he likes to have fun outside. These are coming from the vowels of his name, so he's got E and I, O here and 2 O's here, and we add that lot up, it comes to 14 or 5. And that particular point, and this up here. Now, this part relates to basically what he loves to do, what he really, really enjoys. And there's a wee bit of naughtiness in there, so I won't go into detail here what that represents. So I'll just leave that as it is. That number and that number together mean real naughtiness. So let's leave it at that, and I'll leave it to your imagination. Now, there's another one of those numbers. There, and there again. So it's kind of like, does his birthday actually mean something? Well, it means sporty and having fun and loving the outdoors and being proactive with all sorts of exciting things. So that's it there. And that 0 that just goes there represents he is actually quite spiritual. He does have, you might say he might even, I don't know, but pray as he goes to go and do his work. This is his characteristics. This is his personality. Characteristics. What's he like? He likes to be an individual, a leader, a winner, a person who goes out there to get what he wants. And that's great. Over here on this side, what I've got now is his physical, mental, emotional and intuitive qualities. Can I quantify that? Yes, I can. When I look at this, I'm looking at these particular results here of these rows. And what I find to be interesting is this one here is the highest one. That adds up to 16, and that's okay. It just means that he's got 16 letters in his name. And like a bunch of Lego blocks, where you put them together, you can take his physical qualities, his mental qualities, his emotional qualities, and his intuitive factor qualities apart. The biggest one is his emotional qualities. So he's very, very sensitive with his emotions. And when his emotions are upset, his mind goes right out the window. Now, only he would know that, or people who know him well would know that. In other words, he is controlled purely by his emotions. Now, what I've got here is an age bracket. So I'll write the word age here. And there we are, A-G-E for age. That's his age going along right up to where he is this year. He's about to turn 44 on the 30th of December, so right at the last part of the year. Now, what's interesting in this particular field are some of these items that I have marked up, squared circles, and put little lean overs here and there in them. They are like a time, in fact they are a timeline. So this is a timeline of his age from 31 to 50, but he's only 44, but what's coming up will be very, very determined shortly, because he's about to hit with this little diagonal here. Let me have a look at what I can explain that. These numbers through here are the results of a part of his brain called the amygdala, which are causing him to feel good or bad about things. So all these here are results of part of his makeup inside his head that makes him how he feels. And each of those codes can be understood to make meaning of how he feels. The last line, this row, that row of this row here, are the circumstances that he will meet as he goes through the years of his life. At age 44, where he is right now, if you look at this, this is interesting. You can see there's a row of numbers or sequence that go from 1 to 9. They finish there and they start again. They finish there and they go backwards again. These are like bouncing balls. of life. And he's right at the end of a bounce right now, which means that things are coming to an end for him. And not only are they just coming to an end, they're about to turn 44 to 45 years of age, and that to me kicks over, and that number up there comes into play. Because that one is 5. Oops, I'll make this a little bit better for you. W is the 23rd letter of the alphabet, so 2 and 3 is 5. T is the 20th letter of the alphabet, so 2 and 0 is 2. And D is the 4th letter of the alphabet, which is just 4. 4 plus 2 is 6, and 5 is 11. 11. And 11, in this instance here, says the moment he turns 44, he's moving into his 45th year. Because when you turn in age, you've done it. The moment you turn in age, you're into the next bracket of age. So he's completed 44 years of age on the 30th of December. Click, over it goes. There's another aspect here, which is what that red line there identifies as, because his circumstances here is that, and Tiger feels that 9 and 2 make the number 11 again. So he's heading into more difficult times. If I look at this particular number here, that's running into that one there, which is a 16-7. And what we've got now is Tiger is about to hit harder times. I can see his career going downhill. So what I read out before and what I've done on a chart like this, which I could spend quite a lot of time telling you about, is really what numerology is all about. So you see, numerology is not about not about numbers, it's about language. And when I'm speaking to you with letters created from an alphabet to make words, to make sentences, to convey my thoughts so you can see them. This is real numerology. So numerology is not about numbers. In fact, it's about, and quite honestly, this is the past. This is the future. This is like a slide rule, and I can go from here anywhere back into his past. This is where his first infidelity came up in 2007 and 2008, and you can see in here there's a 13 there, a 13 there, there's a 16 there as well, as I can see that. He's got another code, which means he's got a 6 and a 6 kicking over just after he turned 32. That's when things started to get funny for him. Then he has some difficulties in here at age 37 there, to 38, to 39 and to 40. And he had two numbers the same, that represents something. A 7 and 4, that makes 11. An 8 and 3, that makes 11. Here is what that represents at these age brackets. And we know what happened back here, 2014. This is when things got out of the bag for him. And he's struggled, and he's had some challenges, and he's had patterns that change. 3 8s, 1 7, 1 5, 3 3s. He's got a run here of 2s coming up. The one ugly part about this 16-7 here, this year, because that number has a lot to do with health. And this one is the end of a run. My prediction, therefore, is that Tiger is going downhill. And if he's going downhill, well, it's because he's going downhill. He's getting older, he's had back problems, he's had injuries going on with his neck and other activities. But what is really happening is that this particular tool is like having a person who is here, and here, and here. That's interesting, that looks like a cap he wears, isn't it? Yeah, another one. Woo. So what we've got is timelines. And at any particular point in his life, I can look here and go backwards in time. I can look at here and go forwards in time. But wouldn't it have been wonderful at this age of 31, and if I said to Tiger, buddy, you're about to hit the shit hits the fan. And what you're about to do is going to be challenging for you. Maybe you should rethink this. And if he had listened, if he had known this, or if you had known this, what's coming up for you next year in 2020? This is what I do when I send information out to people. This is real numerology, but in fact, and I'll repeat it, it is not about numbers. So, if you got anything from this particular video clip showing you that this goes on, I don't know anybody else is doing this like that out there in the world. So, this is 40 years of work. And there's a lot more to this because I really do get into people's brains. Yes, I get into the brains and I can tell what's going on inside a person's head. I get into neuron cells, so we can talk about what's going on inside a neuron cell and how it switches. And if you really want to play this game, numerology, literology, it's for experts, then we're having some fun here doing this. Want to know your future? Give me a call. I'll put something up for my credit, get hold of me that way, get your chart for next year. It's got a forecast and how would you like to have all of the months for the next 12 months laid out for you so you can see what's going on, and an overview of the year and what you should be doing in life and what your skills and character and qualities are. It's about 19 odd pages. Go to my website, petervaughan.net, and I'll put that up for you, and you can order this online, and you can even see a couple of video clips online there about what I've done on television in the past. Thanks for watching. This is what numerology is. Yay! See you in the future. Bye for now. Oh, and thanks for watching. Seriously, thanks for watching. Bye.